Well, hello all. Today I, Anshu Rani Singh, PGTCS from Kendriya Vidyalaya AGCR Delhi, I'm going to present a topic on understanding the for loop, and this is the most simplest way. So let us see how it works. Now here we can see that a for loop, when we want a task to be repeated again and again, then we used to use for loop. So let us go through its definition. It says it is used for executing a sequence of statements again and again. Now, what is the syntax of for loop in Python? In Python, the syntax of for loop is for I in range, and inside the parenthesis it will be the starting number and then the last digit till which we want the for loop to run. And then we have to put a semicolon, which is mandatory, as this is the syntax. And then after that is body of the loop. That means what are the steps that we want to get repeated, that we have to write here from this position, and we have to mind the indentation also. Now, in this for loop, suppose this is the syntax of for loop, let us go through how it flows. Here is the flow chart of the for loop. So when a for loop is written, then initially what happens? So initially when we used to write for I in range 0, comma 4, then what happens? The for loop first checks whether the value of I is less than 4 or not. If it is less than 4, okay, if it is less than 4, then only it will enter the body of the loop. And the moment the value of I becomes greater than 4, the loop will terminate. So let us see how this flow chart is flowing. Here, entering for loop for each item in sequence. Here, the loop is entering. Then it is checking last element has reached or not. And what is the last element here? The last element is 4. So, last element has not reached. So, no. Condition is no. So, what will happen? It will go inside the body of the loop. It will turn back. And then again it will check whether it has reached the last element or not. Again, if the condition is false, then it will execute the body of the loop. After executing body of the loop, again it will go back by incrementing the value of I. And this process goes on and on like a cycle till it reaches its destination. And what is the destination? The destination is it has to reach till 4. So the moment it has reached 4, the value of I becomes 4, it is going to terminate. And the moment it terminates, it comes out of this loop. So this for loop, this particular for loop will run from 0 to 3, that is 0, 1, 2 and 3. And the moment the value of I becomes 4, the loop will terminate. Now, for I in range start and stop, what is start? Start is the initial value which is given to I, and stop is the last value that is given to I. Suppose inside the for loop here a print statement is written, and print statement, what is written? Move forward. So again this is an explanation of this for loop. When the value of I is 0, then what it has to do? It has to print move forward. So it will print move forward. Value of I will be incremented. It will become 1. When it will become 1, then again it will check whether 1 is less than 5. Yes, 1 is less than 5. It will print move forward. Again value of I will be incremented internally. I will become 2. Again it will check whether 2 is less than 5 or not. Yes, condition is true. Again it will print move forward and so on. The value of I becomes 5. 5 is, it will check that 5 is not less than 5. Condition becomes false and it will stop. So this is just like a cycle which repeats and repeats and repeats till it reaches its destination. Now here are some few samples of for loop. Suppose the for loop is written in this way for I in 1, 2, 3, and the bracket is being used as square bracket. Then in such type of cases, what is the output? The output uses to be exactly for I in 1. So when the value of I is 1, it will print 1. Then value of I becomes 2, it prints 2. Value of I becomes 3, it prints 3. The next example, when for loop is written in this way and only inside the parenthesis only one value is written, then that is the stop value. And we can understand that the starting value is 0 by default. So here for this particular for loop will run from 0 till 5 minus 1 number of times. So it is going to print 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now the third example is, here the range is given. Range is what? That is, the starting value is 5 and the ending value is 10. That means this particular for loop will run from 5 to 10 minus 1 times, or 10 minus 1. So for this particular for loop, the output will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. So let us now recapitulate all the things and let us have a few interesting questions related to this for loop. Is it an entry controlled or exit controlled loop? So Python, since it checks at the starting only that whether the value of I is till the last number. So in the starting only it is checking for the condition. So it is an entry controlled loop. Next question is, does it always jump one step forward? Well, the answer is no. It is not that it is always jumping one step only. It depends on the syntax that you are assigning. Suppose after start and stop, if after putting comma sign you are putting some values, then that many number of steps it will jump. So it is not a compulsion that it has to jump only one step. Now, question number 3. Is it a definite loop? Well, yes, the answer is it is a definite loop. Why? Because in the starting only we used to define that how many times it has to run. What do we do to have an indefinite loop? So if we want to have indefinite number of times, if we want the loop to run, then we will go for a while loop. So while loop is a loop which runs for as many number of times as many the user wants. Whereas for the for loop, the user has to tell the program that how many times the for loop will run. So these are some of the very interesting facts about a for loop. Now, after going through all the slides, here I'm giving you a link where you can go, you can check whether how much you have understood this particular for loop. Thank you so much.